Good morning, everybody. Appreciate y'all being here. Obviously jumping into a new week, a new opportunity. Coming off the game, Saturday. Disappointing outcome. Disappointing beginning to our season. Obviously, we're not playing to the level that I believe we're capable of. There were some positives that did come of the game. I did think there were some improvements that are showing up. I thought defensively, the interior of our defensive front, you definitely played at a higher level, a lot more production. I thought you saw flashes there from the edge. You saw some young players that were able to get opportunity, and I thought did a good job. I thought Justin Cryer, you did some really good things there in the course of the game. KJ Kirkland, getting his first start, thought he did a nice job. Some things that he'll get to continue to improve upon, but it was great experience from him. We were better in stopping the run. Still some things, in third down situations where we can continue to improve. But I did think there were some positives, and you saw the defense get put in some tough situations. We had 3 turnovers in the first half. They were able to. You hold firm and obviously respond in a good fashion there. Offensively, there was it was obviously not the type of game that we needed, not the type of game that that we expected, and we've got to continue to push and get better, and we got to be able to find rhythm. We got to be able to be able to sustain drives on third downs. It's really been poor. Poor execution and production in that situation. Too many third down and long situations that we found ourselves in, and it was just a variety of different issues. And it takes 11 guys going out there, playing as one. Everybody's got a job. Everybody's got a responsibility. I'd love to say it was just this one. Situation or this one position, but there's we have to be better, and there's when you sit there and you go through practice and preparation, and there's you're not seeing the mistakes that are showing up there on game day for whatever the reason, whether it's a route depth that we're emphasizing, or a certain technique or fundamental, or a certain call there in protection, and you make it through the week and it's pretty clean with the very similar looks of what we get on game day. But in the moment, we've got to be able to go out there and perform and execute. And like I said, it's every single person, myself, all of our coaches, our players, we all have to get better. And, I can tell you that there's, a lot of work that's going into that improvement. And, but we've got to see it show up on game day with everybody involved. But, I think our team, they understand the expectation of what it's supposed to look like. Obviously our coaching staff understands that the standard we got to continue to push to. And, I thought our guys came back yesterday and they did go to work, and I've challenged them to we have to be different this week. We've got to continue to the values, the objectives, the standard of how we're operating, but we got to make sure that investment is even more. We got to continue to reflect on what we're doing throughout the course of the week that's going to allow us to be better on game day, and we need to see that improvement. And we're playing a Cal team that. They're undefeated up to this point of the season. They've been on the road. They won. They beat an SEC opponent on the road. This is a team that defensively they play fast. They are aggressive in how they attack. You can tell they're very well coached. Offensively, they've got very versatile attack in the run game, and then a quarterback that's been really efficient and being able to make a lot of different throws, and obviously, they're playing at a high level here at the early part of the season. So, as we go into this week, we need to see that step. We need to see that improvement, and I'm definitely looking forward to how our guys approach the preparation, and excited for the opportunity that we have here this week.
All right, start with the higher up here, right? You guys obviously didn't have your tackles, your starting tackles on Saturday. Any update on the possibility of getting those guys back, and then also? just overall the offensive line struggles? Like, is it more execution, techniques? Or what are you seeing?
So with the first question with the tackles, I mean, promising that we could get, one, if not both, and I say both, obviously JB, we'll see how we can progress through the week. Darius, that was something that happened in pregame, and so kind of unexpected. We'll see where that goes as the week, kind of progresses. But, I think when you got into the game there the other day, and even here in the early part of the season, there's been a couple different issues, and it's nothing that it's like I said earlier, it's not just saying, oh, well, this is the 1 point or this is the one time. There were a couple of communication issues there with a couple of variety of looks. I mean, we got a lot of pressure and things trying to take away the run game. In certain looks on Saturday, and then there were a few times where whether it was a miscommunication, misidentification, across the board, where it just wasn't as clean as it needed to be, and when it comes to protection, I mean that's everybody involved when it comes to run game. Obviously, those you incorporate tight ends, running backs, tracks, all those different things, and so it's just we've got to be better. And I mean I know it's a frustrating thing to sit there and look at, and it's frustrating for everybody involved, for those guys that are out there playing. I mean they want more, they want to be better, they're working hard at it, but it's some of the those little things that we have to improve on, and just the consistency of it. And we're continuing to work as coaches to help put those guys in the best position, and so we can go out there and play fast and be able to utilize the techniques, fundamentals, and showcase the skills that you guys have.
Over here, front row to Brendan.
Do you have an update on Shaheem Brown's availability, and then Jalen Brown and Cam Riley as well? Yeah,
expecting Shaheem to be available this week. When it comes to Cam and Jalen, we'll see how they progress throughout the course of the week. Both those guys went down there pretty early in the game, and and it was a game where we had a lot of guys that had to step up due to different injuries, and obviously that experience is invaluable for those guys when you sit there and you look, or it's valuable for them to be able to go out there and be able to get those reps and to build their confidence in what they can do, and also to see some of the areas where they got to be able to improve. But we'll see how those guys progress as the week goes on.
We'll go over to Kurt, front row on your right.
You've talked a few times recently about seeing success in practice not translate to game days yet for this team. I guess in your time as a coach, a head coach, a coordinator, position coach, have you seen an extended stretch like this where you've seen that happen? And I guess I'm sure it's not a thing where there's one fix for every time that happens, but what have you seen fix similar issues before?
I mean, it's there's been times where in whatever that the issue is. I mean, whether it's a guys a confidence issue at times, whether it's guys just understanding issue. Sometimes you see some young players, some of the finer details, those things will show up, and it's really you're working yourself through and finding the success, and that's something that we need. We need best players to go be best players. Guys that have high ability and high potential need to go live up to it. And I mean, coaches need to make sure that we're putting them in the best position to be able to get out of the challenging situations or difficult experiences. We got to help pour in to build up and try to create some of those successful moments. And we're really kind of all in on that. But it's challenging when you don't have success. Whenever or it's not going how you want it to go, and whether it's starting to press, starting to try to do too much, starting to get tight in those moments, it just you're not playing fast and free, and so we've got to get ourselves through that, obviously offensively, and I really have a lot of confidence in these guys and the guys and what they can do, and so I'm believing that is ahead, and we're going to continue to work hard every day to make sure that shows up.
Next will be Jordan, third row on your left.
Coach, after the game on Saturday, you said that you're going to be evaluating all aspects of the team. Do you expect to make any personnel changes this week, or will you be going with the same rotations that you used on Saturday?
I mean, we'll continue to see what this week shows. And, there is an expectation of guys to go out there and perform and respond and to improve and get better. And, I'm going to work my butt off to make sure that we do everything in our power to win this game. That's what the job is. And, that's what we're going to work towards. And, I think you saw guys that get opportunities. You see guys that what they do with it. You're going to see what guys do in practice, and how they show that they are ready and prepared to go out there and make an impact. And then we'll be able to go from there.
Come back to Brendan on the front row.
How would you evaluate perimeter blocking, and when there are miscues, I guess what are things that?
Oh, it was bad.
Okay.
It was awful. It was the worst. There's no easy way to put that. I mean, there's times that you stop the film and you see a third of the field with, we have as many or more than what they have, and you get no production. That sucks. And so, it was a challenge. That was something that was issued, and, we work really hard, and we've had a really good, standard of how we've executed in that moment, in those moments in the past, but that was awful. It's kind of direct in my response on that. Yes.
Next will be Peter, third row on your right.
Coach, seeing how DJ performed in the second half, do you feel like he kind of took another step forward?
Looking at DJ, obviously it's been a challenging start for everybody, and there are 11 guys that it takes 11, and we all have a job, we all have a responsibility. I think when you look at the game, there were some things that DJ did really well in putting guys in a position and trying to give opportunities, but. There was also a few times that we had some missed opportunities on his part, on just in our overall execution. But I am pleased with the way that he's preparing. I am pleased with the things that he's doing. You see the moments, all right, where he's giving us a chance. He's giving us an opportunity to have big plays. I thought there was a lot of the reads and things that he needed to do in the position where he needed to put the ball that was positive. Like I said, there was a few times that we got to be better, and so I'm believing that we're going to see growth from every position that we have. We're going to see continued competition at that, but I know what he's putting in, and I see what he's seen, and then obviously we just all have to be more consistent about the execution of that, and making sure that for this offense we get the spark that's necessary to go and be what I believe we can be.
Go back to Ira.
In some situations, like you talked about the perimeter blocking, you do have some new players, but you also have some of those guys I think were experienced players. Like how it's not a lack of understanding. Like what responses do you get from guys?
That's where guys that we've seen perform, guys that we know capabilities and I know desires too. We got a team this is not a team that's just throwing their hands up and they're working. I see it in their eyes. I've been a part of teams where you have you have the highest of high moments and you got some of the lowest of low moments. We've been a part of that, and I've been a part of it through my coaching career. And the eyes will usually lead you to what's in their heart. And when you see the approach, the work, the things that they're trying to do, it's not from a lack of desire, and I don't believe it's from a lack of ability, but in those moments, that's where we're working to see a disconnect, or working to fix the disconnect of execution, of obviously making the play in the moment, and that's one of the things that is frustrating, and it gets frustrating for players. It's frustrating for coaches, all of us, and because I know what guys are capable of, and if I hadn't seen it, if it wasn't something that that we've been able to do, then that would be something else. But we just got to be able to go out there, and cut it loose and play, and trust your techniques, trust fundamentals. If we're sitting there with it, if it's a finer detail, if it's a obviously one of those specific things, we got to trust that and go apply it. And you got to build confidence through that, through the work that we have throughout the course of the week, and we got to build confidence of that for what we're doing out there in the course of the game. And so, that's where, like, I have confidence in what this is going to be. I'm not, I don't need a pep talk. And I mean, it's one of those things, like, I know where this is going to go. I know what it's going to be. It's just, we got to go out there and we got to get it done. And, like I said, I mean, I've got to help, create that, that confidence, and we're going to continue to push the way we push in practice. We're going to continue to prepare, and but we all have to be better, and that's what I've challenged our players with. Is like, what is your week looking like? What is it leading up to the game? I mean, what's your what are you allowing in? And that's one of the things we've talked about. Bouncing back this week, and but what are you putting in? And it's it's how much film study, how much extra are you doing on your own? What are the things that you're doing to prepare yourself, that so in the moment, man, you're not you thinking too much, and you're not trying to, because we have really tried to simplify even more things just to see guys play fast, but some of the day one basics that when you show up and you see a hesitation, or you see, or a mistake shows up. I mean, those are the things that, I know we're better, and we got to go be better. And for coaches, everybody involved, just helping guys, take that step to where we can go out there and play to the level that we're capable of.
Coach, how did you evaluate the defensive line's performance against Memphis on Saturday? It looked like there were some improvements, and especially, how did you evaluate Joshua Farmer's performance?
Yeah, Josh was one of the guys I thought, as I said in the opening, it was, I thought that was a step forward, and I thought you saw Josh. Obviously Josh missed all spring. Had some limitations there in fall camp, but you start to see, that, the strike, the explosiveness, some of the things that we're accustomed to seeing from him. I thought you felt that impact. I thought Darryl did some good things. You saw that interior, really work. Being able to work. I thought that guys on the edge. I mean, there were some flash plays or some good moments. I think we can still have more there. That can show up. But like I said, I thought there were some real quality plays and quality steps that we're going to be able to build upon, there from Saturday.
We'll go to Corey, third row on the right.
Mike, obviously when you've had so much success as a play caller and just an offensive coach in general, going back to Arizona State and what you did at Memphis and what you've done here, excuse me, getting choked up, is there a chance?
I can, trust me, watching what we've been doing, I can understand that, yes.
Is how much does the confidence in your own self waver at all when you have a start like this, or do you go back to all the success you've had in the past and say, we'll get through this? Because I doubt you've ever had a start quite like this offensively, where it's been so bad for 3 games, but you've also had so much success in your career. How does that weigh itself?
Every team is unique to itself, and that's the challenge to every coach is, and that's why, I can sit in front of you and tell you, man, I haven't been good enough. And I tell our players, it is my job for when we step on the field, for them to go out there and to be able to showcase who they are, what they are, the identity of the offense, the identity of defense, special teams. I mean, that has to show up. And, right now we've had an offense that in these first couple games, I mean, we haven't had that identity. And that goes back to me. And now, is my confidence? I am ultimately confident in ability of what I see, what I believe we can do, and helping put guys in a better position. My confidence is not wavering when it comes to that, but it's still about the execution. And that's where, when I can firmly stand in front of our players and say, look, I will be better. And, it's through the work, it's through, making sure that, the things that we see that we're trying to do, I mean, we've got to be able to translate that. And so, we're all in this thing together, but, for however it sounds, I mean, I know my capabilities as well, and I'm very confident in what that will be.
Stay there for Peter.
Coach, thoughts about having Alex Atkins back, having him back for the Cal game coming up?
No, I mean, Alex, he's so important to this football team, and it's been unfortunate, the circumstance, that we've had these last 3 games, but we're grateful to for his presence. And, obviously a great coach, what he brings there, every day. But, especially on game day, that presence, the another set of eyes that, see things as the game is progressing and evolving. And, obviously just, he's a leader of our offense too. I mean, that's, in that role, I mean, that's, he has a big stamp on all things that we do. And so, yes, I'm over there. I do call the plays, but I mean, he is such a strong presence when it comes to all things that we're doing. So definitely glad about, having him back. And, I think it's going to be, obviously a benefit for all of us, having him back on the sideline.
We'll go back to Jordan on that.
Coach, you talk about the special teams being an identity unit for your team. Can you just talk about the fumble and the offside call and kind of how disappointing that was for you to watch?
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought the offside call was awful. Because the ball moved, the guy's keying the ball, and for whatever that is, that's, it's a redshirt freshman that's keying the football. The ball goes up it's about to snap, so he steps. So I'm not I'm upset about that call, but I thought it was a terrible call. And but for the kid, he's doing exactly what I'm telling him to do. You see the ball move, you stay, you go. And so that play went from 4th and 8. We're going to get the ball back to 4th and 3. They went for it. They converted. They did a good job on their part of it. The fumble on the punt return. That's one of those situations. Got a very talented young freshman that is doing what we asked him to do. He's communicating. The fair catch. You saw one of our players heard it, the other one did not, and so he gets blocked into it. The ball hits, and obviously an unfortunate play that shows up, and it's something that you work, you rep. I mean, it's a daily focus for us, but it's something that we can continue to grow up, to grow on, and making sure that all guys are getting that communication in those situations. But that was just an unfortunate play in a big moment.
All right, we got time for 2 more. We'll go back to Ira.
We haven't been around Luke as much, but we've definitely been around Brock, and we saw him kind of embrace the opportunity last year. When things aren't working on the offense, or do you have to manage? I'm sure their feelings are, hey, we could do something. We could help this team if we got out there. Do you have to manage that, or is that just life? You got to deal with it.
No, I mean it's it's all things. I want that, and every player that's not on the field, I hope they have. I hope they see themselves as the X factor of what's gonna be the difference in a spark and a change and anything that could happen, because you want that type of confidence in it. And my challenge to everybody on this team, you continue to prepare for your moment. There on Saturday, Jalen Early was not expecting to start the game. Right, that was not an expectation. Right, but in pregame he became the starter. Right. His preparation, all the things that he did, what went into that. I mean, that's, you never know when your moment's going to be thrust upon you. Are you ready for it? Are you showing it in practice? Are you putting yourself in that position that continues to fight for those opportunities and those reps? And ultimately, that's where I love what I'm seeing from Brock, and I said it after the game. I mean, I have a lot of confidence in that quarterback room and those guys of what they're doing and how they're continuing to push. And it's going to be a daily push from all of them to go show that where they are, and obviously if the opportunity presents itself, what it's going to look like. And so. But I'm definitely pleased with them in that, and I both think they have that edge of what they can do and what it can look like.
Last one will be Chris here on the front row.
You've mentioned trying to create a spark on offense. I know obviously for the offense to be good, it's a matter of doing it consistently the right way. But is there a way to try to create a spark in a short-term window, doing something different, i.e. Wildcat in the past, things like that?
Yeah, there are. I mean, there's certain things that you look for, because you got to be able to say, well, why this? You can always have a thought or a suggestion, but it's got to be able to point to. You got to be able to answer that question of why. How is this putting us in a better position to be successful? If if you're getting cover zero looks and everybody's down and pinching all gaps, like sometimes Wildcat good, bad, indifferent, like, sometimes going into empty and spreading them out, why are we doing that? What's the benefit that we're going to see from trying to create a different spark? I mean, I'm not the biggest, trick play person in the world, but, just a couple weeks back, I mean, there was opportunity. We saw a look that we liked, and we tried to take advantage of it. It did provide a spark. We had one of the vertical shots there on a PN10 the other day. It provided a spark. I mean, it's, we definitely are looking for all opportunities to provide sparks for this team. And sometimes it might be play, it might be concept, it might be personnel, whatever that's got to be. We are gonna continue to evaluate that and look at it. But I think more than anything else, because it's real easy to say, well, just change this, yes, or let's just do this. But if you can't answer the why, right? If it's not something that is where you see that it's going to be better, it's going to give you that competitive advantage, or it's going to give you this, then those are things that you just now you're just throwing up in the air and you're kind of grab bagging at things. So we spend a lot of time working, practicing, preparing, trying to put our guys in the best position from what we're going to ask them to do. But like I've said, we got to do a better job of doing that and of the execution of it when it comes to game day. So we are. Like I said, Saturday, we're evaluating all things to be better, and we're going to continue to do that in all aspects of our presentation. Continue to develop the personnel and go out there and play better.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you, guys.
Adam, when we talked to Coach Norvell just now, he said that he thought the attacking unit had showed improvement from last couple of weeks. I guess, what did you see from the defensive front in terms of stopping the run and whatnot?
You said the defensive line front?
Yeah, linebackers too.
Yeah, I mean, we did a better job of controlling the run. Still a couple, flat issues that we got to be able to take care of off of the runs. But I think the last couple weeks we've seen slow improvement, not accelerated enough, but we're seeing it. We're seeing a little bit more confidence in technique, and we're seeing some growth from some of the players that we've been given some opportunities to, and that's got to continue.
Coach Norvell also mentioned improved third down defense, but needed to be a little bit better. How did you evaluate your team in that aspect of the game?
Not good enough to win the game. There was a couple plays there, even the first third down, we hold them to a field goal after the sudden change, but we give them an extra series. Just, we could have made that third down a lot easier. There were some things that we thought we were able to dictate protection-wise, and, we just, it's never okay for any third down to be executed because we have a plan to stop it, and we need to be better. We got to make sure that we hit on each third down opportunity because we got to play better. We got to be there for this football team. We got to keep getting better, especially on third downs. I thought our red zone was better because they didn't get in the end zone each time. So there are things that you need to build on, but still maintain a standard of where you need to be.
Losing Cam during that game obviously was a challenge. How did you feel like, Justin seemed like he played well, and just that group overall, how did you feel?
Yeah, it just, things happen out there, and so we're trying to make sure we're able to keep that position fresh so we can play as fast as we can. I do think Juice, in the last couple games when we've given the opportunity, continues to gain confidence, and that shows up in his execution. He's able to play a little bit more to his ability. I think Blake is quietly just mounting reps. Still want to see more playmaking out of him because I know it's there. DeMarco Ward got in the game because we had to we didn't want to just leave the 3 out there with DJ. So I thought DeMarco stepped up and, got his feet wet and was able to give us some snaps so that we could keep guys fresh and he could get his own experience. So hopefully we get a few guys back, but we got to just keep getting better with the guys we're giving opportunities. And, the way we're operating right now is, when the guys are showing it out there, we're giving them their opportunities. When they do well in the game, they get more opportunities. If they don't, we go to the next guy. And so we're just trying to develop the entire defense, the entire team, whether that's showing up in special teams. Q Jones is showing up in the kicking game in a really good way. So we're trying to give him more opportunities on defense. Fenn went down again towards the end of the game. So, Quinn was in there and did a nice job. The ball didn't come his way. But, there are some of these guys that are redshirt freshmen that are starting to get, we believe in them. They just got to continue to believe in themselves so that we can maximize those opportunities when they get on the field.
You mentioned some of the redshirt freshmen. KJ Kirkland came in for Shaheem. What did you make of his performance in that game?
Good. I thought, Kirk deserves the opportunity to continue that role, of playing for us. I thought he handled things really well. I thought he was calm. He was in position. Things weren't too fast for him. He controlled the moment. There's some plays he left out there that I expect for him to make. He was a step late on a dig, missed a tackle, but did make some. And so it's just building on the positives and learning from the things you need to be corrected. And he's somebody that I believe will do that. That's why he earned that opportunity. And he'll be better this week. It's my job to make sure he is.
You talked about after the first game, we've seen in the last couple of weeks Sione's role grow, get more playing time. I guess how have you seen him respond to a larger role within the defense?
Good. I thought Nusi had a good, I don't want to say a great game, but he was impactful. He made a couple plays. He shut down a couple runs on the edge, just physicality, coming off, making blocks. He actually showed up in a pass rush on 2 opportunities and got good hits on the quarterback. Execution level, for the most part, is really good. We got to clean up a couple of those split zone plays. We came too, I don't want to say too aggressive, but our technique was flawed with a couple of those that we got to clean up. And he's a veteran player. He's better than that. But again, Nusi's one of those ones that we've given a little bit more opportunity, and that's going to continue to happen for him because I do like the direction he's headed.
We see you guys in practice. One of the things you guys do a lot of the pursuit drills. When you see film, is it unrealistic to, sometimes as fans or media, you'll see somebody trailing a play and not giving great effort. Is that unrealistic to expect that every play, or is that the expectation, and how do you handle it if you see that?
Yeah, not realistic from a standpoint of it's realistic for us to expect the most every play. And, if the guy doesn't have a lot of gas in the tank because of whatever that energy level is, that's our job as a coach to react to that and make sure the next guy's in the game. And, I don't think there's not a lot of players that I've come across in my time that just refuse to chase the ball. If that happens, then there's a major issue, and that needs to be dealt with aggressively. But when it comes down to, if the energy level, whatever that is, isn't there, that's our job as coaches to react to it because it is. I mean, if you don't chase the ball, you have no chance of winning the game because it doesn't matter if you're a zone team, a man team, a 3-down front. The more people you get around the ball, the better chance you have to get the ball back. And so, I mean, that is something that is critical. We are not as good as we need to be in that area right now. And that falls on me, and I'm doing everything I can to make sure that gets corrected ASAP.
Following up on that, to be better, to be where you want it to be with the energy level, like is that something that you guys can do daily as coaches to emphasize it? Does it have to be personnel, like when you're trying to get effort, energy, that kind of stuff? How do you maximize it?
All. I mean, sometimes it's just a coach taking the reins of a leadership standpoint. Sometimes it's a player. I mean, sometimes when you saw it out there in the first drive, nobody wants to turn the ball over on the first drive. It happens. And we went out there and made a play, then made another play, then we gave up a play, then came back and made another 3 plays, and you started to see that energy get created. So what happens first? the energy or the play being made, right? Because they kind of work off of each other. And sometimes when momentum's happening and you're going against the momentum, it takes a play to change that momentum. Now, does that happen because your attitude going into the play, your mentality going into the play helps you make that play to change it? Yes, it all matters. And I think in order for it to get done, it starts at the top. And I think we have the best leader in sports, in Coach Norvell. And he's consistently that person, which allows the opportunity for each coach to be that person, which allows for each player. And so it's all part of it, but everybody that takes a baton has to speed it up. And I think that's an important thing to make sure that that happens.
2 for 1. And they're not even related, but I'm just going to try to save him walking back and forth. What can the sudden change defense, the way you guys play in those situations, what can that do for this team? It seemed like there were some positives there. And then the other question is on some of the past plays where there have been breakdowns in communication or whatever's happening, is that a matter of those guys, new players, just needed to be more time on the field together, or are there things you're already doing to try to address that?
Totally. Yes. I like the synopsis of sudden change defense. Let's hit that. I try to bring in practice, you practice that every time because you change periods. And so every time you change period and you go into a new session, like that's because you went from not on the field to on the field. And there's the mental preparation to, everybody here has a job. All of a sudden you clock out, your job's done, and your boss calls you and you got to come back and do the job. That's what it is. And so, sometimes you don't think about it and you just go and react. Sometimes there's time to think about it, whatever that is. But we try to practice those situations because I see it as this. When it's sudden change, our team is lacking momentum. That's a great opportunity for the defense to go grab it back. And there's no better thing than when things are going this way to get them back the other direction, right? Because that breaks wills of other teams. And so, we got to take advantage of those opportunities and see it as that great opportunity. And, unfortunately, it happened a few times on Saturday. We weren't perfect because there were some field goals. It was, opportunities that we probably could have even been better. Then going back to the coverage, we play a lot of tight coverage. I mean, it's part of what we do. And teams try to use formations and motions to create space because they don't feel confident just lining up and trying to create space one-on-one. And so tell our guys, you've earned the right to get them in condensed formations because they haven't been getting open with the space. There was some great route matches, I thought, Saturday. Our guys did a really, really good job on a lot of them. And then some of them, even when we ID'd it, for some reason, we just allowed the route to outrun us a few times. And so that's more of a technique thing. But I do think when you're playing, me and you have him and him, him and him go fast, one goes slow, one goes fast, one comes off. The more we play together, the easier it is on the execution. I still want to get the best players out there. And it's a combination of the guys that are the best individual players, but there's a point of it, the guys that play the best connected defense, because those opportunities are going to come up. And my job is to get the guys that are the best individual players playing the most connected defense as much as possible. And when you do that well, you go out there and teams don't score.
It seems like that Patrick and Marvin had their most impactful games on Saturday. Overall, how did you think they played as a defensive end duo, I guess?
So separate from Newsy, just those two?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think first thing, Corey, is they average 2 yards a rush. So now what does that give you the opportunity to do? Go rush the passer and put them in situations that we get to go do that. And I do think that's both of their strong suits. There were times that I thought we were good in the run game at that position. There's still some times that we still saw some of the lapses in alignment or technique, and that's just constant coaching and reminders and me calling the defense better to suit how they're playing and all the adaptability. But we did see some lost plays, we did see some sacks, did see some pressures, did see some hands on some ball disrupts. So better, but we need better.
Coach, I think Memphis had over 70 plays. They owned the ball for 36 minutes. How hard is it for a defense to stay fresh throughout the game, and how did you feel your team did in such a physical aspect?
I mean, we didn't win the game, so we didn't do well enough. I don't try to judge it just by that, but that is the end result. And doesn't mean when we win the game that it's always great. But part of that is third down. Like some of those, like, you know, if you hold them for 2 conversions, you probably get that play count down to 65. And so we've got to do a better job with that.
2 other younger guys who seemed to get extended roles, Jabril Rawls, KJ Sampson. How did they do with those opportunities?
KJ Sampson, some good, some not so good, and and some things were just some little things, like he was too tight in his alignments a couple times, and they got 4 legs on him, and he got moved. I do like his energy and his athleticism. I think there's playmaking there for Sampson, and that's just got to continue. Him and Grady, kind of shared some reps there. We end up playing 5 defensive tackles. Want to continue that. So, I do think KJ Sampson has a future this year and continued, and he's just got to have another good week. Jabril went in. I think he gives us some really good coverage ability in the slot. We've moved them in there, not full time, but a good amount to try to steal some snaps from Kevin and Earl because he does show some natural ability. And, he's just got to go out there and have another good week. And we got to keep putting him in situations. He's got to be able to stay on the field. He's got to be able to give us what we need throughout the week of practice. And then that opportunity will come from him. And when we put him out there, it means he's ready for it. So we need a little bit more from him. But I do believe that he can give it to us.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. You said 3. You never say 3. That's a weird number.
I saw 3 people with him.
Hey, buddy.
Who would like to start us off? Let's go to Jordan. Jordan, you were going to raise your hand. Mike's already over here.
Coach, I asked Coach Norvell about this earlier. Can you just talk about the fumble and the offside call and your perspective on it?
Yeah, the muff punt at the end of the half, obviously, a tough situation there for Weezy. He was calling for a fair catch. Major point of emphasis every time you're in that situation in terms of a fair catch is making sure not only with your arm action but also verbally communicating that, and then everybody on the field having the opportunity to echo that communication because it can't just be on one guy. And Q didn't get it. He got knocked into where Weezy was, and it was an unfortunate situation, obviously, that became a critical play in the game.
Seemed like more pass rush opportunities this week than the last couple. How do you think the defensive end group did with those opportunities?
I thought you could feel some pressure show up. Obviously translated into, I think, 3 sacks with the front, but I think you did see more of an impact in terms of that. There were some quarterback hurries, balls having to come out. So hopefully we can continue to do a good job against the run. I think we went into halftime. I think they had negative yards rushing at halftime, and that puts us in a position where we have more opportunities to rush the passer. So we got to continue to be solid against the run and allow ourselves those opportunities, and when we have those opportunities, take advantage of them.
It seems like Newsie's getting more and more opportunities. Is he a guy that because of his age and experience, maybe plays even better sometimes in games that he does in practice, or is that how he's been practicing too?
No, he's been very consistent, through practice, and the game flow of that first game, just kind of some of the situations that showed up. He didn't get as many reps as I would have liked him to get in that going into it. But really, the last two games, he coming out in the 30s and 40s in terms of total play count. That's about where I would like everyone to be, really, to be honest with you. And I think he's going to continue to increase his role because he does bring a veteran presence, but he also brings, kind of a toughness and a leadership, and I think it's something that this defense needs and our football team would need.
Gordon?
Not that it was his fault, but do you worry about a young freshman's confidence in catching punts when the second one of his career ends up happening like that? And should he have gone and gotten the last one in the final 2 minutes, or is that one where it's kind of iffy or stay away from? Like, how do you get confidence when somebody hasn't done it a lot?
Yeah, I think the only way that the confidence is created is through the reps in practice and then the opportunities and experiences in the game. It's always that catch-22 with young players, and that you say, well, you don't feel comfortable playing someone because they don't have experience. But if you never give them an opportunity, how do they gain experience? And he's done a great job in practice. Does give us confidence of how it's going to translate in the game. And hopefully that is a great learning opportunity, because I think he has a great future ahead of him, not only as a returner but as a wide receiver. And I'm hoping that we look back at that moment and say, okay, it was a great learning opportunity for him and for our team, and we all get better from it, and he continues to grow as a player.
It seemed like it was more in this game, probably game plan wise, or it could have made my imagination, but it seemed like there were more plays where the ends were maybe dropping into coverage or looking to get in passing lanes and things like that. How is that? How effective has that been, and how much better can they get at that?
Yeah, we're a multiple defense in terms of we'll have our man coverage rush opportunities. We have also our fire zone world where ends are in coverage. And we usually go into the game with a pretty decent balance of how we will attack people in terms of that pressure. There are a couple third downs, I'm sure that you're thinking too, where we did use some of that fire zone coverage. 3 that I can think of off the top of my head, where Marvin was kind of the one dropping and almost got into throw lanes, but really he was in coverage on the back. He just happened to be in that spot because the back stayed in the protection. But that's a part of our the tools that we use defensively, and it can be very effective. Obviously, those 3 plays that I'm thinking about specifically, 2 of the 3 weren't, but it wasn't for the lack of the pressure execution.
Is there, in terms of the rotation on the defensive line, some of the young guys have gotten some opportunities. As the year goes on, do you expect more of those guys to earn opportunities to get in the rotation, or what you guys have gone with pretty much going to be it?
Well, with every game week, we go into it with the mindset of what do we got to do to put ourselves in the best position to be successful. And in some cases, it could be giving guys opportunities. In other cases, it's staying with some of the guys that you've been with. But it's going to be obviously always week to week in terms of just putting guys in the best position to give you a chance to be successful and win the game that day.
As you move forward through your coaching career, how much is somebody like Fitzgerald's journey something you'll always be able to tell guys that you're coaching? Because where he was a year and a half ago to what he is now, I assume is a great teaching point for everybody you come across.
Yeah, there's no question about it. I think one of the great things about sports in general is the ability to go out and compete, and when things don't go the way that you intend them to go, to have the perseverance, the persistence, the mental toughness to continue to work. And that's all Ryan did. There was a lot of noise around him 2 years ago right now, and all he did was keep working. And through that work, continue to gain confidence, and now become, in my opinion, maybe the best kicker in the country. And that's come through a lot of hard work, a lot of perseverance, and a lot of toughness. But it's also a great lesson for everybody in every aspect of their life. People are going to have their valleys and their low moments. It's the response in those moments, and heck, you could use that same metaphor for where we are as a football team right now. Like, you're going to have those times that you're going through things that are tough. It's how you respond to them and how you continue to work, and that mindset that's going to allow you to come out of it.
Anything else for JP? Okay. Next guy.
Thank you, guys.